Hi everyone, I'm Karla and welcome to my art channel, Karla K Art. I am an artist that specializes in hand painted silk, and today I am going to be taking a drawing that I drew on paper and freehanding the drawing on silk using resist, and really hope you enjoy watching this, seeing how it's done. I started by doing a drawing in pencil on newsprint, and I do most of my drawings just on newsprint, so I can feel very relaxed when I'm drawing them, and I'm more than willing to try different types of designs and different types of looks, and I don't get stressed out about the cost of the paper because I can just throw this paper away if I don't like the way the design's turning out. In this particular rhododendron piece, I actually have quite a few rhododendrons in my backyard, different colors and a little bit different varieties, so the flowers look a little bit different. So I looked through the different bushes I have and tried to do drawings of kind of unique clusters of flowers or groups of flower buds when it's about to flower. I just thought that that would make the piece more interesting for people to look at. And so you can see I've drawn some clusters of flowers with the leaves falling away before they've even bloomed. And because I actually have hummingbirds having little wars over who gets to get the flower nectar from each flower, I went ahead and decided to put some hummingbirds in this piece. There's 3 hummingbirds in this piece actually. And I have quite a few hummingbirds here, and they're very territorial. So I do these hummingbirds at different angles, kind of showing how the birds really love the nectar from these flowers. I didn't show the complete video of me drawing each piece because I thought each section of the drawing, because I thought that might get a little boring. So I have jumped around and kind of tried to show the areas that I thought were most interesting and show the areas that I thought were best represented by the camera angle I was shooting from. And I am using a black permanent resist manufactured by Jacquard. I do buy resist thinner, Gouda thinner, and apply that to the resist, the big canister of the purchased product that I buy. I add thinner to that in order to get the right consistency for the type of silk. And the thinner the silk, the thinner the resist needs to be. You only need resist to sink through the fabric. You don't want it to bead on top of the fabric. If it beads on top of the fabric, it can be sticky even after it's dry, and it can rub off on other parts of the silk and or on the person if it's being worn. So you really want to make sure you have your resist consistency right. And it's kind of the consistency of a thick cream, and it comes out very easily. I do not have to press very hard. I get a lot of comments from people saying that the resist is, how do I make it look so easy? That resist is actually harder to push out of the container, and it's not. It almost falls out. If I were to leave the resist upside down over the silk, it would drip out over the silk. So my resist is fairly thin. You don't want to get it too thin, especially when you're using a colored resist, or the resist will not hold. It will turn a bit gray. And by not holding, I mean the dye will leak through it. So you do want to keep the resist still thick, but it doesn't need to be the consistency of a thick glue. Mine is more the consistency of a cream. And I use a lot of different colors of resist in my work. I really like the black and the clear permanent resists for their qualities of holding the line and containing the dye. But I use silk paint and a couple of other water-soluble resists by Jacquard, so I can add colors to the dye. I am told that you can add colors to the clear permanent resists, but I don't know how to do that yet. So at some point I will come across instructions for that, and I will partake in doing that because I really like the lines of the permanent resists. But for now, I use water-soluble resists when I want to have a colored resist, such as red or blue or green or yellow or purple. Once I get this resist all done, I need to wait for it to dry, and then I will be able to paint it in with silk dyes. So for right now, I'm just going through and doing the whole black and white drawing. And at that point, I can take a photograph of that drawing and I can put it into Procreate, which is one of the programs I use on my iPad, to fill it in with possible color combinations. I can also choose to just leave it black and white, steam it, and just keep it as a black and white drawing. And I can also choose to photograph it and turn it into a coloring poster, which is something that I've done in the past and had fairly good success with. So those are the different reasons why I color the whole thing in with resist. I draw the whole thing with resist and then go back and color over it once it's all done. You can paint in the lines when the resist is still wet, but if you touch it with your paintbrush, it will get your paintbrush gooey and you can smear the lines. You also run the risk of having the lines get really wide, because even though this is a permanent resist, when it comes in contact with water, it will become a wider line. And sometimes you want that and sometimes you don't. So you just have to use that to your best advantage. I'm just going through, I drew the initial rhododendron flowers on that big piece of paper, and then I wasn't quite sure where I wanted the hummingbirds to be, so I just drew 3 hummingbirds, random hummingbirds, and then I cut them out so that I could place them over the silk as I was drawing, wherever I thought that they would best fit. And since I knew I had to expand this drawing in order to fit on the 36-inch by 36-inch silk, I wasn't quite sure where the hummingbirds were going to best fit, so I wanted to wait until I was doing the drawing so I could see how they would fit on the page the best. Hummingbirds are really fun to draw. They're really colorful. That's why I often choose them. I like looking at them. They're so neat. I like the way they can hover. And I think they make for very interesting designs in artwork pieces. So that's why I chose to do hummingbirds. That and the fact that there are just a ton of hummingbirds in my garden this summer. The branches of the rhododendron are both brown and green on my rhododendrons that are here at the house. I chose to kind of interweave them through the flowers in order to create kind of a more interesting negative space. Negative space being the space around the shapes that I'm making. So I kind of use the stick shapes, branch shapes of the rhododendron to kind of make those shapes more interesting. I also thought that the brown reddish color of the rhododendron branches kind of made a neat contrast against the brightly colored flowers. I think that they made it more interesting. Here you see me drawing a rhododendron flower from the bottom. So that's a rhododendron flower facing away from me. Again, I was trying to catch flowers in unique positions and not just do a straight on rhododendron piece. When I'm doing my work, I try and have a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. I think that makes the best type of artwork for my designs. So the birds were in the very foreground, the flowers were in the middle ground, and the branches of the rhododendron were in the background. And that's kind of a rule that I always stick to with my designs. I always want to make sure I have a front, a middle, and a back. And I think that for the way I draw, that makes for the most interesting pieces. When I'm drawing these flowers, I'm also paying attention to size, because you want some contrast in your pieces. You want small shapes and you want big shapes. You want small flowers, you want big flowers, you want thin lines, you want thick lines. So you can see me here drawing a big flower in front, because things in front that are close are often larger, and then smaller flowers behind it, because as things get further away, they get a bit smaller. And in this case, some rhododendron flowers are literally bigger and smaller than others. So it kind of creates some dimension and some contrast in my piece that make it more interesting to look at. Flower designs have always been very easy for me to draw ever since I was a young kid. I'm very relaxed drawing flowers. I think it's because I don't have any expectations on myself that I just draw them so easily. I certainly wish other objects were as easy to draw as botanical ones are for me. I do think drawing is a skill, and I think you have to use it all the time if you want to improve upon it. So I'm drawing every day. Every day I'm drawing something. So if you're an artist out there that's frustrated with your drawing skills, this is one of those things where practice makes perfect, and that whole book about 10,000 hours to become an expert, they definitely apply. The more you draw, the better you will get at it. And you also have to look at how other people are drawing and how different artists perceive objects, because I think that to become a better drawer, you have to challenge yourself, and you can't just be content with everything you're doing. You have to push yourself to try things from different angles, to try things from different perspectives. That's what'll make you a better drawer. And remember, you have to draw what you see, not what you think you see. A lot of us get caught up in what we think is supposed to be there, and in reality, it's not there. So you always have to draw what you see, not what you think you see. I believe the best drawings are made when you can draw something from a model, whether you're drawing a person from looking at a person, drawing a flower from looking at an actual flower, drawing a cup or a bowl from actually looking at a cup. When you're looking at a live model, I do think it makes for better drawings. This almost wraps up this part of me doing this drawing. Here I am signing the bottom of the piece, and I'm going to show you some pictures here of what the silk looked like when it was all done. And my next video is going to be about painting this piece in, so if you want to watch that, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can get a notification about when it is released. Hey everyone, I really hope you enjoyed this video of me freehanding a design in Resist on the silk. And if you like this video, please press the thumbs up button. If you want to get notifications about when I put out new videos, please press the subscribe button. There's no charge to subscribe. It just gives you notifications of when I put out new videos. Leave a comment if there's something you want to see me draw on silk, if there's some designs that you're interested in seeing or some techniques you're interested in watching. And if you hit the arrow button over on the right hand side there, it will give you access to some links about my Etsy site, my Fine Art America site where I have prints, and my website where I have a gallery of my work and have information about classes that I teach, etc., etc. So really hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time in the art studio. Bye!